I died choking on my own blood. The taste of betrayal as sharp as the shards of glass from the windshield that had exploded into my face. My son's screams echoed in my ears. "Mom, no." But it was too late. The truck that plowed into us wasn't an accident. It was her final punctuation on a lifetime of lies. And then, like a bad edit in a Hollywood revenge flick, I woke up gasping in my old bed. The alarm clock blinking 7 a.m. on a date 5 years earlier. My heart pounding not from the crash, but from the impossible truth. I was back. The room smelled like fresh coffee and regret, the kind that clings to faded floral wallpaper in a 2-story colonial in suburban Chicago. I bolted upright, staring at my hands. Wrinkles just starting to etch in, no scars from the wreck. My name is Amelia Harper, and I'd been given a do-over, a cosmic mulligan on the nightmare my family had scripted for me. But this time, I wasn't playing the devoted mom, the doormat widow who'd sold her soul to keep the peace. No, this time, I'd rewrite the ending, starting with the woman who'd poisoned everything, my daughter-in-law, Vanessa. It hit me like a freight train, the memories flooding back in Technicolor horror. 5 years from now, Vanessa would convince my son, Ethan, that I was the problem. "She's draining us, babe," she'd whisper in those late-night pillow talks I'd eavesdropped on once. Too late to stop the rot. Living here rent-free, guilting you into handouts. We need our space. Ethan, my sweet, spineless boy, would nod along, his loyalty shredded by her honeyed manipulations. They'd stage that intervention in the kitchen, Vanessa at the helm with her fake tears and eviction notice in hand. "Pay rent or leave, Amelia. It's not personal." I'd begged, bartered my savings, even offered to move to a nursing home early. But she'd won. And in my desperation to escape the humiliation, I'd driven off in the rain, straight into her hired muscle's path, a random hit-and-run that the cops would call an accident. But it wasn't. The secret I'd uncovered too late? Vanessa wasn't just a gold-digging opportunist. She was a fraud, a woman with a rap sheet longer than her fake blonde extensions. She'd married Ethan not for love, but to launder money from her side hustle, running a pyramid scheme disguised as a wellness empire. And me? I'd been collateral, the nosy mother-in-law who'd stumbled on her burner phone full of incriminating texts. Now, with 5 years to arm myself, I'd dismantle her empire brick by brick, starting today. I swung my legs over the bed, the hardwood cool under my feet, and padded to the mirror. 45 again, not the broken 60 I'd glimpsed in that final hospital reflection. My reflection stared back, brown hair in a sensible bob, hazel eyes sharp with purpose. Downstairs, the house was quiet. Ethan still snoring in the guest room after crashing late from his shift at the auto shop. Vanessa wasn't here yet. That came later this month, when she'd slither into our lives at a mutual friend's barbecue, all smiles and yoga pants. But I wouldn't wait. First, coffee. Black, strong, like the resolve hardening in my chest. As the pot gurgled, I pulled out my laptop, the ancient Dell that still worked miracles, and fired up a search. Vanessa Klein Fraud Chicago. Nothing yet. Of course, her schemes were embryonic. But I knew the threads, the shell companies, the fake testimonials, the offshore accounts she'd start siphoning into once she had Ethan's trust. I bookmarked everything, my fingers flying like they had a vendetta of their own. By the time the first sip scalded my tongue, I had a plan sketched in a notebook. Infiltrate her circle early, plant doubts, gather evidence without tipping my hand. And the controversial part? I'd use Ethan against her, not by turning him, but by letting him see the monster she was, through his own eyes, his own losses. The doorbell rang at noon, a harbinger I remembered all too well. It was Marla, my old neighbor, the busybody with the perm and the gossip mill. "Amelia, honey, you hear about the Millers? Divorce City." Turns out she was skimming from his 401k. I invited her in, playing the part of the sympathetic ear, but my mind was elsewhere, probing for any early whispers on Vanessa. Marla didn't disappoint. "And that new girl your Ethan's been eyeing? Vanessa something or other. Met her at the gym. Sharp as a tack, but girl's got dollar signs in her eyes. Watch yourself." I smiled, tight-lipped, and poured her tea. "Watch myself? Oh, Marla, you have no idea." By the time she left, I'd extracted her contact for the local PI, a grizzled vet named Hank who'd later help me uncover Vanessa's first scam. I called him that afternoon, voice steady as I spun a tale of preemptive due diligence for my son's potential girlfriend. Nothing major, Hank. Just background. He chuckled, that gravelly bark. For 500 up front, I'll dig deeper than a grave. That night, Ethan stumbled down for dinner. Spaghetti, my go-to comfort food laced with extra garlic to ward off vampires like Vanessa. He was 28, all broad shoulders and grease-stained jeans, the spitting image of his dad, God rest him. Mom, you okay? You look intense. I ruffled his hair, forcing a laugh. Just plotting world domination, kiddo. Eat up. We talked shop, his dreams of opening his own garage, my endless shifts at the library cataloging dusty tomes. But underneath, I was recalibrating. No more enabling his laziness, no more bailing him out of bad dates. This time, I'd push him to stand tall, to question the wolves in sheep's clothing. Weeks blurred into a calculated dance. I accidentally bumped into Vanessa at the farmer's market, all wide-eyed innocence. You must be the girl Ethan won't shut up about. I'm Amelia, his mom, the meddler. She flashed that megawatt smile, the one that hid fangs. So thrilled to meet you. Ethan's lucky to have such a rock. I'd be her kryptonite. Over kale smoothies and small talk, I dropped subtle probes. Her consulting gig, the vague mentions of networking events. She bit, reeling off buzzwords, MLM dreams, essential oils with life-changing potential. I nodded, feigning awe, while mentally cataloging her tells. The flicker in her eyes when money came up, the too-quick deflection. Hank's first report landed via encrypted email a month later. Clean on the surface, but red flags waving like cheap party streamers. A string of short-lived jobs, a bankruptcy filing under a maiden name, and whispers of a lawsuit in Milwaukee for misrepresentation. Not enough to sink her yet, but ammunition. I filed it away, waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, I upped the ante on Ethan. Mandatory gym sessions together, financial workshops where I drilled savings into his skull. You're better than scraping by, son. Build something solid. He grumbled, but showed up, his abs starting to peek through the dad bod he hadn't earned yet. The first crack appeared at Thanksgiving. Ironic, given the theme of gratitude. Vanessa had wormed her way into the invite, arriving with a store-bought pie and stories of her empire in the making. Around the turkey, she cornered me in the kitchen, voice syrupy low. Amelia, Ethan mentioned you're comfortable here. Ever think about downsizing? More freedom, you know? It was her opening salvo, the gentle nudge toward eviction. In my past life, I'd stammered apologies, promised to contribute more. This time, I met her gaze, cool as Lake Michigan in January. Freedom's overrated, Vanessa. But security? That's priceless. Tell me more about your ventures. Ethan's investing. Her laugh was a brittle chime. Just dipping a toe. But it's huge. Residual income, passive wealth. I smiled, pouring wine like it was hemlock. Sounds dreamy. Send me the prospectus? I've got a nest egg burning a hole. She hesitated, then nodded, ego stroked. By morning, I had her pitch deck in my inbox. Pages of glossy lies, pyramid peaks promising riches. I forwarded it to Hank. Dig deeper. Christmas brought the gift of escalation. Ethan proposed, on one knee under twinkling lights at the Magnificent Mile, Vanessa's Instagram ablaze with the rock. I hosted the engagement party, all forced cheer and catered sliders, but slipped in the shadows. Whispers to aunts and uncles. She's ambitious, that one. Just hope it's for the right reasons. Nothing overt, just enough to sow unease. Vanessa noticed, her smiles tightening like a noose. Amelia, you seem tense. Family stress. I clinked glasses. Darling, you have no idea. Hank's second dossier was a bombshell. Vanessa's ex in Milwaukee wasn't just bitter. He had receipts, wire transfers to dummy core, victims' affidavits calling her a con artist in Lululemon. She'd fled a $200,000 judgment, changing her name from Klein to Voss for a fresh start. And the kicker? Her wellness line was laced with unregulated supplements, one batch hospitalizing a dozen marks. I printed it all, stashing in a fireproof safe under the floorboards, the same one I'd die clutching in my old life, ignored by the cops. New Year's Eve, I made my first controversial move, anonymous tips to the FDA hotline, vague enough to trigger audits without my fingerprints. Vanessa's shipment stalled, her events canceled. She raged to Ethan over brunch I overheard from the laundry room. Bureaucratic bullshit. It's sabotage. He soothed her, but doubt crept in. I saw it in his furrowed brow when he asked me later, "Mom, you think she's okay? Business stuff's getting weird." "Trust your gut, Ethan," I said, voice steady. "Love blinds, but lies echo." He hugged me, awkward and long overdue. Progress. Spring thawed the ice, but not the tension. Wedding planning turned the house into a war zone. Vegas elopement vetoed for a proper affair in the backyard, courtesy of my veto power as the family matriarch. Vanessa seethed, but played nice, until the dress fitting where she cornered me again. "This is costing a fortune, Amelia. Maybe chip in. Or stay out of it." The rent demands precursor, laced with venom. I laughed, soft and sharp. "Money's just paper, Vanessa. Secrets? Those are currency." Her eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean?" I leaned in, breath minty fresh. "Just that every empire has foundations. Cracks show eventually." She stormed out, but I'd planted the seed. Paranoia, her Achilles heel. By summer, the wedding loomed like a guillotine. Ethan's garage dream ignited. I co-signed a loan, but only after he audited Vanessa's books at my subtle urging. He found discrepancies, missing deposits, inflated expenses. "She says it's accounting errors." He confessed one night over beers on the porch, fireflies dancing like guilty consciences. "But Mom, it feels off." "Feelings are facts in disguise," I replied, clinking bottles. Confronted head-on. "You deserve truth." He nodded, resolve flickering. The next day, he demanded transparency. She gaslit him with tears and tales of haters. But the fracture widened. Hank's final report dropped like napalm. Vanessa's offshore nest egg, $1.2 million siphoned from dupes, funneled through Ethan's shop account as loans. She'd been using him as a mule, blind and loving it. And the murder plot? Hired through a dark web contact, paid in crypto from her slush fund. Ironclad proof, timestamps aligning with my death date. I debated the nuclear option. Cops, full exposure. But that was too clean, too merciful. No, revenge demanded theater, American style, dramatic, divisive, unforgettable. The wedding rehearsal dinner became my stage. Guests milled in the backyard under string lights, laughter masking the storm. Vanessa, radiant in white linen, toasted futures while I sipped Chardonnay, watching. Ethan pulled me aside, face ashen. "Mom," I confronted her. She admitted. "Fudging numbers. Says it's for us, but I don't know." My boy awakening. "Then don't marry doubt," I whispered. "Marry certainty." The dinner devolved into chaos when Vanessa, tipsy and cornered by Ethan's questions, snapped at me across the table. "This is your fault, Amelia. Stirring shit, making him paranoid. Pay rent or leave. This house isn't your castle anymore." Gasps rippled, forks clattered. In my past life, I'd crumbled. Now, I stood, slow and cinematic, the yard falling silent save for crickets. A smile curved my lips, not cruel, but knowing, the kind that says checkmate. "Rent? Oh, Vanessa, you think this is about money?" I pulled a thumb drive from my pocket, the safe's treasure, and plugged it into the projector we'd set up for slideshows. The screen flickered to life. Bank statements, emails, victim testimonies. Her face drained of color as the pyramid collapsed in pixels, her lies laid bare. "You see," I continued, voice carrying like a eulogy, "I've known since day one. The scams, the siphoning, the plan to run me off the road when I got too close. But here's the secret that'll leave you speechless. Ethan's not just my son. He's the key to it all. Twist time, the one I'd fabricated from half-truths. Because why not go full soap opera? His dad? Not the man you think. I had an affair, years ago, with a man who built empires. And Ethan? He's heir to a trust fund you'd kill for $5 million, untouched until now. Lies, mostly. Dad left peanuts, but the bluff landed like a gut punch." Vanessa sputtered. "You're lying." "He never." But Ethan stared, piecing it. "Mom? What the hell?" "Truth hurts, son," I said, eyes locked on hers. "But betrayal? That kills." Cops arrived minutes later, my anonymous call from the powder room, cuffing her amid screams of innocence. Guests scattered, whispers exploding into scandal. Ethan, shattered but free, turned to me. "Was any of that real?" I hugged him, the weight lifting. "Enough to save you. The rest? Call it poetic justice." In the aftermath, the house emptied of toxicity. Ethan sold the shop, started fresh in Seattle with a girl who loved grease monkeys, not greenbacks. Me? I downsized to a cozy bungalow, wrote a tell-all that sparked debates on family loyalty and second chances, bestseller status, therapy fodder for a nation. Vanessa rotted in federal lockup, her empire ashes. And me? I lived, really lived, for the first time in decades. No by kitsch here, just a widow's win, hard-fought and unapologetic. Turns out, rebirth isn't about erasing the past, it's about directing the sequel. The dust settled like fallout after a bomb, but in the Harper household, or what was left of it, the real explosions were just beginning. It was 2 weeks post-rehearsal Armageddon, and the backyard still smelled faintly of spilled Merlot and shattered illusions. Ethan hadn't spoken to me beyond monosyllables since the big reveal, his world upended not just by Vanessa's villainy, but by my bombshell about his heritage. I'd spun that yarn on the fly, a desperate Hail Mary to sever his ties to her forever, but now it festered like an untreated wound. Was I the hero or the puppet master? In the quiet hours, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, even I wasn't sure. Chicago's summer humidity clung like guilt, turning the air conditioner into a feudal warrior. I'd taken leave from the library, indefinite, with pay, thanks to a sympathetic boss who'd seen the headlines. Mother-in-law exposes bride-to-be's $1 million scam at rehearsal dinner. The tabloids ate it up, dubbing me the vengeful viper in one rag, suburban Sherlock in another. Talk shows called. I declined, holding up with takeout Thai and Hank's final invoice, paid in full with a bonus for the overtime. Ethan burst through the door that afternoon, duffel slung over his shoulder, face a storm cloud. I'm out, Mom. Need space. His eyes, Dad's eyes, damn it, held accusation, not just hurt. That trust fund bullshit? You lied to me. Used me as bait. I rose from the couch, arms open, but he flinched. Ethan, listen. No. You listen. Vanessa's a monster. Yeah, I see that now. But you? Playing God with my life, dropping secrets like grenades? Who are you? He paced, boots thudding on the Persian rug I'd bought with my first paycheck after his dad's funeral. I loved her, Mom. Or thought I did. And you let me twist in the wind, gathering dirt like some FBI wannabe. The words landed like slaps, each one echoing the doubts I'd buried. In my old life, I'd been too passive, letting betrayal fester until it consumed me. This time, I'd swung the pendulum hard. Too hard? I did it to save you, I said, voice cracking despite my resolve. She was going to kill me, Ethan. For real. The crash wasn't random. It was her, hiring some lowlife to tie up loose ends. You think I wanted this circus? I died once already in my head, replaying every what-if. He froze, duffel slipping to the floor. Died? What the fuck does that mean? Ah, the rebirth bomb. I'd held it back, fearing he'd think me cracked. But secrets were currency, and mine was bankrupt now. Sinking onto the armchair, I spilled it, the crash, the blood, the impossible rewind. His face cycled through shock, denial, then a wary belief, the kind you grant a stranger's tall tale. Jesus, Mom. If that's true, why not tell me sooner? Would you have believed me? You're head over heels for a con queen. I laughed, bitter. Besides, this was your story to live, not mine to dictate. But yeah, I overplayed. Forgive me. He collapsed beside me, head in hands. I don't know. Maybe. But I need time. Heading to Uncle Ray's in Milwaukee, clear my head, figure out everything. Uncle Ray, Dad's brother, the black sheep with the cabin and the whiskey wisdom. Smart choice. I nodded, throat tight. Go. But call. And Ethan? The trust fund? Bullshit. But you do have something coming. Life insurance from your dad, untouched. Use it for the garage. Build, don't burn. He hugged me then, fierce and fleeting, before vanishing into the July haze. The house echoed emptier than ever, a mausoleum of what-ifs. I poured a scotch, neat, like Dad, and toasted the ghosts. To do-overs. May they not bite you in the ass. The next controversy brewed online, where anonymity bred venom. Forums lit up. Am I elf from hell or hero? Threads dissected my reveal, painting me as everything from empowered avenger to manipulative harpy. One viral post, from a Vanessa supporter, likely a sock puppet, accused me of elder abuse. Ironic, given my victimhood. She drove her future DIL to desperation. Toxic boomer entitlement. Replies piled on. a digital lynch mob demanding my head. I scrolled in the dark, heart racing, until a DM pinged from an unfamiliar handle. Amelia? It's Lisa from the victims group. We need your story, for real. Lisa was one of Vanessa's early marks, a single mom from Gary who'd lost her savings to the oils. She'd reached out months back, pre-reveal, when I was still ghost hunting evidence. Now, over coffee at a dingy diner off I-94, she slid a folder across the Formica. Class actions forming. Your testimony could bury her, but it'll drag you through the mud, depositions, cross-exams. You ready for that spotlight? Ready? Hell, I'd lit the match. But the cost, reliving the death, airing family laundry in open court, not. Controversial decision numero dos. Sue the bitch into oblivion, turning personal vendetta into public justice. Sign me up, I told Lisa, pin scratching like claws. Let's make her pay, literally. Depositions started in August, a legal thunderdome in a loop high-rise. Vanessa's lawyer, a slick weasel in Armani, grilled me for hours. Ms. Harper, isn't it true you harbored jealousy toward your son's fiancée? Fabricated evidence to sabotage a loving relationship. I leaned into the mic, unflinching. Jealous? Of a fraud who planned my murder? Ask her about the crypto trail to Fixer 87. That's me, the loose end. The room chilled. Her team squirmed. Outside, paparazzi swarmed like locusts, flashes blinding as I emerged. Amelia, was the affair story true? Is Ethan really not his father's son? I flipped them the bird, subtle, American defiance, and sped off in my Corolla, laughing maniacally. Freedom tasted like exhaust and vindication. Ethan checked in sporadically, voice thawing over crackly lines. Saw the news. You're a badass, Mom. Miss you. Uncle Ray's influence showed. Less boy, more man. Coming back soon. Garage plans in motion. I cried after hanging up, alone with the ring of the phone. Progress, painful as a root canal. Fall foliage turned the suburbs crimson, mirroring the blood I'd spilled metaphorically. The trial proper kicked off in October, a media circus in Cook County Courthouse. Vanessa took the stand, all wide-eyed victimhood. Amelia hated me from day one, sabotaged my business out of spite. Jurors shifted, I caught a few eye rolls. My turn came, and I owned it. No tears, just facts, delivered with the precision of a librarian citing sources. The affair fib? I copped to it, a white lie to shock him awake. Better a fabricated scandal than a real grave. Gasps, then applause as I stepped down. Actual claps from the gallery, a rogue wave of support. Vanessa's empire crumbled under forensic accountants. The judge slapped her with 15 years, restitution orders stacking like Jenga blocks. As cuffs clicked, she locked eyes with me across the courtroom. Pure, unadulterated hate. You'll pay for this, Amelia. I smiled, echoing our backyard standoff. Already did, dear. In blood. Post-trial buzz was euphoric. Book deals, TED Talk invites, even a podcast, reborn and vindicated. But the high crashed when Ethan returned, gaunt and guarded. I dug into Dad's papers, Mom. No affair, no trust fund. You lied again. Over pizza in the kitchen, grease spotting the table like tears, I confessed the rebirth fully, no holds barred. His reaction? Not rejection, but awe. Holy shit. Like Freaky Friday on steroids. We laughed, the ice breaking. So what now? You some kinda oracle? Nah, I said, tossing crust. Just a mom with a grudge and a second shot. Help me rebuild this place? Your garage starts here. He stayed, and we did, hammering walls into workshops, sweat bonding what words couldn't. Holidays healed. Thanksgiving sans drama, just turkey and truth. But shadows lingered. Anonymous threats in my inbox. Vanessa's girls doxing my address. Controversy 3. Arm myself. I enrolled in concealed carry, traded yoga for the range. .38 snug in my purse like a security blanket. Overkill. Ethan asked, eyeing the holster. In America? Nah. Survival. Winter whispered warnings, snow muffling the world. One night, tires crunched gravel outside. A black SUV, idling ominous. Heart slamming. I gripped the gun, peering through curtains. A figure emerged, not Vanessa's ghost, but Hank, bearing gifts, a bottle of bourbon and a thumb drive. Loose ends tied, Amelia. Her cellmate? Former Mark. Says V's spilling guts, plotting nothing. You're clear. We drank to closures, stories swapping like poker chips. Hank's divorce mirrored mine, betrayal's bitter aftertaste. You did good, kid. Gave her the American dream. Justice, DIY style. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant. Cherry blossoms mocking last year's thorns. Ethan's garage opened. Harper's auto, neon sign buzzing pride. I quit the library for consulting. Spotting Scammers 101. Workshops for wary widows. Full circle, empowering the overlooked. But the real twist? A letter from prison, Vanessa's scrawl shaky. You win. But know this, I never loved him. It was always the money. You saved him from me. And yourself. No apology, just admission. I burned it in the backyard fire pit. Ashes scattering like forgiven sins. Ethan met Sarah that summer. A mechanic with grease under her nails and zero schemes. Their wedding? Simple. Backyard redux. Me walking him down the aisle. Tears genuine. As vows echoed, I whispered to the stars. Thanks for the reset. Life, post-rebirth, wasn't perfect. Scars itch, doubts whisper. But it was mine, unapologetically. And in this sequel, I directed every frame. The neon glow of Harper's auto became my North Star, a beacon in the relentless churn of post-victory life. By mid-2026, Ethan's shop was pulling six figures, his hands perpetually oil-black, but his smile unburdened. Sarah fit like a missing gear, tough, tattooed, with a laugh that cut through engine roar. They bought a fixer-upper downtown, leaving me rattling around the Colonial like a marble in a shoebox. Sell it, Mom. Ethan urged over burgers at the shop's inaugural block party. Start fresh. You've earned it. Earned it? Understatement of the decade. The trial had netted me a slice of the restitution pie, enough for a down payment on a condo overlooking the lake, where waves lapped like applause. But selling meant severing ties to the ghosts. Dad's workbench in the garage, the kitchen table scarred from family feuds. Controversial choice 4. Keep it as an investment. Airbnb it to tourists craving Midwest charm with a side of scandal. Zillow ate it up. Bookings flooded. Each guest's awed, you're her. A twisted compliment. Fame's double edge sliced deeper online, where trolls evolved into fan clubs. My TEDx talk, Dying to Live, a mother's guide to radical truth, went viral, racking 2 million views, invites pouring in from Oprah's producers to true crime pods. I picked my battles, a Netflix docuseries, Betrayed and Back, where I'd narrate my story, rebirth redacted as near-death epiphany. Filming meant reliving the crash in green screen glory, actors mouthing lines from my nightmares. Cut. The director yelled after take 17, my hands shaking. Amelia, you okay? I nodded, but inside, the wheel spun eternal. Ethan worried, his new dad glowed dimming. Don't let it consume you, Mom. Vanessa's done, let it go. Easy for him. His wounds were band-aids, mine canyons. But Sarah, ever the pragmatist, dragged me to therapy, a hipster shrink in Wicker Park with crystals and compassion. Anger's fuel, Amelia, but joy's the destination. Sessions unearthed, wrought-eyed ignored. Resentment toward my own mom for dying young, leaving me to parent alone. The guilt of Ethan's dad's heart attack, blaming my nagging over his smoking. You're not the villain, Dr. Reyes soothed. You're the survivor who got sassy. Sassy? Hell yes. I channeled it into the book, Rent Due, A Widow's Reckoning, ghost-ridden but soul-bared, hitting shelves in September. Launch party at the shop, grease monkeys in bow ties, Sarah emceeing with mic drop one-liners. To Amelia, may your secrets always spill tea, not blood. Signings followed, lines snaking bookstore aisles, fans hugging me like kin. One, a teary grandma from Peoria. You gave me courage to boot my leech son-in-law. Pay it forward, rebirth's ripple. But autumn winds carried chill, a call from Hank, voice edged. Amelia, heads up, Vanessa's appealing. New lawyer, pro bono from some activist group claiming class bias. They're painting you as the real con. Emotional manipulation, false testimony. My gut twisted, the affair fib, twisted into perjury. Can they win? Hank grunted. Doubt it. But it'll drag. Motions, hearings. You game for round 2. Round 2? I'd scripted this revenge arc for catharsis, not a franchise. Nights blurred into research binges, legal blogs, appeal precedents. Ethan raged when I told him, let it die, Mom. She's caged. Why give her airtime? Because justice wasn't a one and done, I fired back. It's not for her. It's for the next Mark. The next mom staring down a barrel. We hung up strained, the first real rift since the reset. The appeal hearing loomed in November, gray skies mirroring my mood. Courthouse again, but this time, protesters outside, feminists in pussy hats chanting, "Free Vanessa," and miles off our backs. Counter-protesters waved signs, "Scammers suck." Media scrummed, mics thrusting like bayonets. Inside, her new counsel, a firebrand with dreads and dashiki, unleashed. Ms. Harper didn't just expose fraud, she perpetrated one. Fabricated narratives to destroy a black woman's ascent in a white picket world. Vanessa, orange jumpsuit, met my gaze with triumph, playing the race card I hadn't seen coming, her light skin no barrier to the spin. My rebuttal? Ice-cold dissection. Spin all you want, counselor. The ledgers don't lie, nor do the widows she bankrupted. My narrative? A nudge to wake my son, not a noose. Jurists nodded. The panel dismissed in hours, appeal shredded. But the damage? Vanessa's mythologized, a martyr to internet warriors. Doxing escalated. Swastikas spray-painted on my condo door, tires slashed. Ethan installed cameras. Sarah taught me Krav Maga. Punch first, ask later, she grinned. Holiday hell. Thanksgiving at the shop, deep-fried turkey and defensiveness. Ethan cornered me by the keg. This fame's poisoning you, Mom. Paranoia is not protection. I snapped, wine loose. You think it's easy carrying the weight? I died for this, for you. He recoiled. Silence swallowed the cheer. Sarah mediated later, over pie. He's scared, Amelia, of losing you to the fight. I softened, hugging him under the shop's hood. I'm here. Always. Christmas brought balm. A positive test. Sarah pregnant. Ethan beaming. Grandma Amelia. Wild, huh? We decorated the Colonial. Airbnb on hiatus. Tinsel tangling like fate's threads. But midnight mass, candlelit, unearthed doubt. Was revenge rebirth, or just rage recycled? Dr. Reyes posed it gentler. Growth isn't linear. You're integrating shadows. 2027 dawned decisive. Netflix wrapped. Premiere in March. Red carpet surreal. Me in thrift Chanel beside actors playing younger me. Critics rave. Gritty, unfiltered. A Trojan horse for Me Too moms. Ratings soared. Residuals funded Ethan's expansion. But the doc stirred hornets. Vanessa's supporters leaked exclusives, fabricated diaries claiming I'd seduced her mentor to steal ideas. Slander suit filed, my first offensive strike. Turn the tables, Hank advised. Make him chase. Spring trials tested temper. Depositions devolved into shouting matches, her camp accusing oppression Olympics. I countered with calm fury. Victimhood's her grift, don't buy it. Verdict, $500,000 in damages, her mouth gagged by gag order. Victory lap? A solo trip to LA, pitching spin-offs, but loneliness hit like jet lag. Calling Ethan from a hotel balcony. Miss you, kid. This normal. His laugh warmed. Normal's overrated. Come home, baby's kicking. Return grounded me. Baby shower at the garage, blue balloons and bad puns. Holding Sarah's belly, feeling the flutter, I wept, life affirming life. But twist two lurked, a package at the door, unmarked. Inside, a locket, mine, from the crash, lost to evidence lockers. Note, she sends regards. Watch your back. Vanessa's tendrils, via proxy. Paranoia peaked. I hired security, a burly ex-cop named Marco. You're a target now, Ms. H. High-profile wins breed long grudges. Nights patrolled, sleep fractured. Ethan pleaded, move in with us, safety in numbers. Controversial 5, decline, stand solo. Can't hide forever. Time to end this cycle. Climax brewed in June, heat wave sticky as suspense. Intel from Hank, Vanessa's brother, a tattooed thug from Joliet, paroled and prowling. He's her errand boy. Torch the shop? Marco tailed him to a dive bar. Confrontation inevitable. I chose the field. The Colonial, booby-trapped with lights and locks. Midnight. He came, hulking shadow jimmying the back door. Heart thunderous. I waited in the dark, .38 steady. Amelia Harper? Got a message. Deliver it. I said, light flooding, gun trained. He froze, hands up. Sis says, you ruined her. Wants equal ruin. Sweat beaded his brow. Fear mirrored mine. Moment of truth. Shoot. or salvage. Tell her ruin's a mirror. She chose the reflection. Cops swarmed. Tip for Marco, cuffing him mid-plea. No shots fired, but the scare? Bullet dodged. Aftermath. Family huddle. Ethan's arms iron around me. Enough, Mom. Retire the cape. He was right. The fight had forged me, but flayed too. I sold the house, full price to a young couple blind to hauntings, pocketing freedom funds. Relocated to a lakeside cottage, therapy twice weekly, book 2 brewing. After the encore, thriving post-trauma. Ethan's son arrived in August, little Jack Harper, fists flailing like his grandma. Holding him, colic cries fading to coos, I whispered, "Fight smart, kid. Love harder." Vanessa faded to footnotes, her appeals exhausted, legend dimming. Me? Reborn thrice, death, revenge, release. America's drama queen, signing off on her terms. Sunsets over Lake Michigan painted the cottage in hues of forgiveness, each ripple a reminder that waves recede, even after tsunamis. By 2028, the scars of my saga had softened to stories, told at block parties, over brunches with Sarah, who'd traded wrenches for mom jeans without missing a beat. Little Jack toddled now, a terror in tiny tool belts, aping Ethan's every torque. "Gamma, fix," he'd demand, handing me a plastic hammer. I'd oblige, knees creaking, heart full. This was the epilogue I'd clawed for, not perfection, but presence. The Netflix doc's glow lingered, residuals seeding a foundation, Harper Haven, scholarships for single moms eyeing trade schools. Turn pain to power, my tagline, inked at launches where I keynote sans spotlight hunger. Fans evolved to mints. Emails from Emilius, nationwide, sharing evictions averted, scams sidestepped. 1. A Detroit widow. "Your book saved my house and my sanity." Replies poured back, a digital lifeline I'd never had. Ethan thrived, shop franchising to Milwaukee, Sarah co-managing with an MBA she'd squeezed between feedings. Family dinners weekly, cottage table groaning under pot roast, debates spicy as the chili. "Mom, you dating yet?" Ethan teased one night, Jack gnawing a roll. I swatted him with a napkin. "At my age? Please. Men are maintenance." Laughter rippled, but truth nipped, solitude suited, post-betrayal. Dr. Reyes probed. "Intimacy's not expiration dated." Explore. I did. A coffee with Hank, bourbon evolving to banter. No sparks, but solidarity. 2 survivors swapping war stories under harvest moons. Controversy 6 simmered low. The memoir sequel, Echoes of Exit. Unfinished business. Publishers clamored, but I insisted raw. Admitting the lies, the overreaches, the rebirth as metaphor for epiphanies. Not saint, just stubborn. I wrote, pages bleeding vulnerability. Release party? Intimate, lakeside bonfire, flames devouring drafts. Critics split, brave evolution versus apologetic cop-out. Sales soared anyway. Oprah book clubbed it. Her "You're a Force," honey, voicemail a crown. But autumn unearthed unrest. A call from Lisa, voice hushed. "Amelia, Vanessa's sick, cancer, stage 4. Prison docs say months. She's asking. For you." My stomach nodded, old wounds weeping. "Why me? Absolution. Or ambush?" Ethan advised neutral. "Closure's yours. But guard's okay. Sarah, punch her ghost if needed." I mulled, waves crashing judgment. Visitation day dawned drizzly, Joliet's walls looming like regrets. Processing. Pat-downs, metal detectors beeping my resolve. Vanessa in the booth, gaunt under fluorescence, chemo bald, eyes hollowed. No jumpsuit, hospital gown, for Pole Sentinel. "You came," she rasped, receiver trembling. I gripped mine steady. "Curiosity. Or karma. Take your pick." She laughed, cough-racked. "Karma's a bitch. Look at me, rotting while you reign. No fire left, just embers of envy. I hated you, Amelia. From the market meet. You saw through. Too smart, too. Maternal. Confession cascaded. The scams born of desperation. Dad's debts post-divorce. Ethan as Mark, not mate. The hit as panic's peak. Never meant to kill. Just scare. Went wrong. Lies. Maybe. But her tears tracked real. My secret. I leaned in, glass fogging breath. I died that night. Saw it all. Your texts, the truck. Came back to bury you. Her eyes widened, myth meeting madness. Bullshit. Or, fitting, pause, then forgive? For Jack, don't let hate haunt. Forgiveness? The holy grail of revenge tales, elusive as peace. I waited, her end nearing, my life lush. Not absolution, I said finally, but understanding. Rot in peace, Vanessa. Hung up, guards escorting her wheeled retreat. Outside, rain washed clean, I drove home howling catharsis. Ethan waited with Coco, reading my face. Free. Freer, I admitted. We walked the beach, Jack splashing puddles, spilling the visit. His nod. You're bigger than her. Always were. Winter wrapped gentle. Holidays at the cottage. Lights strung like laughter. Hank visited. Official now. Dinners turning cozy. Your trouble, Harper. He'd grumble, hand in mine. Sparks? Simmering. Spring bloomed engagements. His proposal over pierogies, simple band glinting. Second acts, Wedding small. Lakeside. Vows vowing no secrets. Jack's third birthday. Chaos of cake and cousins. Ethan hoisting him high. To family. Forged, not flawless. Glasses clinked. I toasted silent. To do-overs, dearly bought. Years folded forward. Haven flourished, mints multiplying. Book 3. Waves and wisdoms, gentler, guiding. Hank and I traveled. Route 66 in a convertible, wind whipping white hairs. Ethan's empire grew. Sarah ran for city council, grit her platform. Vanessa's obit clipped and filed, died peacefully, surrounded by echoes. No service. I sent lilies, anonymous. At 55, I stood lake edge, Jack building sandcastles beside. Gamma, why you smile at water? It comes back, kiddo. Always. Rebirth's truth. Not erasing tides, but riding them. Fade out on sunsets, unscripted. The end. Nah, just intermission. Amelia Harper, directing encore.